Congratulations, you have made it to the end of your first week. Give yourself a round of applause. All right, so this video is just to kind of quickly go over some information you need to know for face-to-face next week. It'll be a combination of just back-to-school staff meetings as well as professional development. So first of all, next week, you get to meet our awesome high school team. Here's a few of the faces and names. If you're a person who really likes to see everybody's face before you meet them, down below, the very last link in your new teacher manual is to last year's school yearbook, and you are welcome to go through and check that out. Best practices for face-to-face. You've heard me say this before, but make sure you have that to-do list. Make sure it's split up between the have-to-dos and the want-to-dos so that you can stay organized and make sure that those tasks that do have immediate deadlines get completed by the deadline. Next, write down all questions. Have just like a running notepad where when somebody says something or you think of a question and maybe you can't ask right at that moment, write down all your questions. This is great for when you meet with your mentors because you can just go down the list of questions with your mentors. Next, bring a jacket. The air conditioning is usually very cold in there, so you're going to want to dress in layers. And then finally, make sure you bring your laptop. All right, now if you're like me, I think about food. So let me talk about lunch real quick. Lunch is a little bit different every day. Some days we're on our own for lunch, and then some days they'll bring lunch in for us and we'll have working lunches. On Monday, that is a lunch where we are free to go to whatever restaurant we want for lunch. So you will come with your mentors and the other high school teachers to a restaurant. And we usually pick it at the last moment. So I don't know where that's going to be. You will expense report all your lunches. So when you do go to lunch, make sure you get the itemized version of the receipt and save that for your expense report for professional development. All right, so I want to go over all of these different topics just so you know what people are talking about during face-to-face. Again, I'm not going to explain how everything works. I just want you to know what they are, and I will also email you these slides. So if you're a person who wants to print these slides off, you absolutely can. So let's start with school topics first. So these are general topics that apply to everyone. We have different systems we use to organize our information. One of the systems is called OneDrive. And so this is in Office 365. This is the cloud, the file sharing we use throughout the school, and your administrator should have already given you access to this. If you don't have access, please let your mentor or lead teacher know. Then we also have SharePoint. SharePoint is what keeps important school documents like our operation manuals, information about reimbursements, so on and so forth. So when you are listening to different staff members talk and they say something's located in OneDrive or something's located in SharePoint, you're going to want to be sure that you bookmark both of these so that you can easily access it to get to those documents. All right, general school topics. On day one of the presentations that we're going to go over is from the FAST team. The FAST team is the Family Academic Support Team. Now, you are going to use FAST for a few reasons. The first reason is helping you with unengaged families. So this might be families that are behind in attendance hours, or this might be families or students that are what we call unengaged, meaning they're not going to class every day, they're not doing 6 hours of schoolwork every day, they're not doing what they agreed to do when they signed up to be part of our school. The other reason why you might use the FAST team is to help you with families in crisis. So let's say a family's house burns down, or you find out that maybe a family is homeless, or one of your students possibly is pregnant. Situations like that, you would turn to our family resource coordinator, who is part of the FAST team. So you will come to love FAST. They are our backup and they provide us a lot of support. I will say this though, there's a lot of details that go into FAST. And at first it can seem like an overwhelming process, but know that it gets easier and your mentor and other teachers are here to help you. Next thing you're going to hear about during face-to-face is connection calls. So what connection calls are, some people refer to them as welcome calls. It's basically the homeroom teacher calling and saying hello to all of their students, making that first connection. There's a template that you use because there is certain information you need to go over. But ideally, before the first day of school, you're going to be able to reach out to all of your students. Okay. And your mentor, if you're a little nervous about doing this, your mentor can actually let you conference in with them on a call so that you can hear your mentor do a call if it helps you feel a little bit more comfortable. Just let your mentor know that you want to do this. We talk a lot about data at our school, so one thing you're going to hear often is DDI. This is a spreadsheet that's kept in OneDrive, and this is where you will track all your student data. MTSS is something we'll be going over on Friday. This is the same acronym as in brick and mortar schools. It's the multi-tiered system of support. I will say this, similar to the FAST process where it sometimes can seem overwhelming, please just know that we are here to help, and through this process, your mentor as well as teachers working on the MTSS committee will help you with this process if you feel like a student needs additional support. And then finally, you're going to hear a lot about FERPA. By now, you should have taken the K-12 training on FERPA, but this is the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act. This you're going to just want to keep in mind whenever you're sending emails talking about a student, that we're making sure that we're protecting their privacy. All right, now I'm going to talk about some terms that are high school specific. The high school team uses what we call a catch-up hour. This is offered Tuesday through Friday in the afternoon for 1 hour. And any teacher can sign their student up, and basically this is exactly what it sounds like. It's to catch up. So if you have a student, let's say in your math class, and they're 5 assignments behind, you can go into this spreadsheet that's located in OneDrive. You put the student's name, what class it is, what assignments you want them to do, and then the teachers who facilitate catch-up hour will come back after the fact and they'll say yes or no, the student came, and if the student did come, they will mark or monitor what the student completed. So you can come back in and see that, oh, Johnny did go and he did this lesson, or Susie never showed up at all. Another term you're going to hear lots about is pushing in. So pushing in is basically when one teacher helps another. And usually the way it works is the non-EOC teachers, for example, I am a history teacher, so I teach a non-EOC class. I push in to an EOC class, for example, English 2. All right, so the classes you push into could be a whole group class or a small group class or both. It just depends on the teacher you're working with and what they want. You're going to help monitor attendance. You will help with student engagement and participation. So if a student goes missing in class, you might pull that student into a breakout room, try to get a hold of that student. If that student is completely just has disappeared, you would remove that student from class and call home and see what's going on and make a note of it for the teacher. So that way they don't have to be worried about, whether or not students are participating. They can worry about teaching the content. And if you are a push-in teacher, you will receive a how-to guide that gives kind of the best tips for pushing into another teacher's class. All right, next thing you're going to hear about is Homeroom Hangout. Homeroom Hangout is usually offered about once a month. So Homeroom Hangout is basically your homeroom class. Every homeroom teacher goes and sets up a class. It's 1 o'clock on Mondays when we have it, and we all cover the same exact topic. So if it's arts in school, we're all talking about arts in school. Don't worry, we do provide the slides. It's not something you have to come up with on your own, but we do ask that every teacher is responsible for creating one of the months of homeroom hangout. So it could be any topic you think would benefit our students, and you would just create the slides, sign up for a homeroom hangout, and then the other teachers would use your slides to talk to their homeroom about whatever the topic is. You also can combine homerooms with other teachers. If you want to co-teach a homeroom, that's absolutely an option as well. So at the high school level, you're going to hear about credit recovery courses. These are for students that have failed or are missing credits, and they are taking courses provided by North Carolina Virtual Public School. Okay, this is different from our school. This is from the state, and basically it's to help these students who are credit deficient make up courses. Please note that they are not taught by NCVA teachers. But the classes do count and go on their NCVA transcript. So when most of you will kind of encounter credit recovery courses when you're doing your connection calls and talking to your different homeroom students, you might notice that under all the classes a student is taking, it might list a name and then say attendance. That means they're taking that class, but they're taking it through NCVPS. All right. We do have advisors at the school that help monitor their progress. So if you are concerned about the progress of one of your homeroom students in a credit recovery course, please reach out to our advisors. Finally, I wanted just to briefly talk about what an instructional coach is versus a mentor. The reason being is most of the professional development we're going to have during face-to-face is going to be with instructional coaches from K-12. Now, these instructional coaches are going to help with best practice for all teachers at the school to use, but not all teachers have access to the instructional coaches during the year. Only our math and English teachers work with K-12 instructional coaches, and they're working on specific best practices for those teachers on a monthly basis. Your mentor, everybody has an NCVA mentor, and we're here to help you with all kind of your day in and day out tasks. All right, we look forward to seeing you all on Monday. Have a awesome weekend, get some rest, unplug from your computer for a while, and get ready. This school year is about to get started. Thanks so much.